OpenAI just won in federal court, and the same week, its biggest commercial partner says it's building everything from scratch to compete. This is Musk v. Altman Daily. Today, Mustafa Suleyman's From the Ground Up line, what it does to the Florida AG's arms race complaint, and what the phrase stolen charity actually has to clear legally.
The company that won in court just watched its anchor investor announce it's becoming a competitor. I've been saying profit gravity pulls things apart, and now, apparently, we have the quote.
Hold on, because From the Ground Up hits a little differently. When Goldman and Morgan Stanley are underwriting an $852 billion valuation, that still depends on that fraying Microsoft relationship. Here's Hayden Field and Tom Warren at The Verge.
For years, Microsoft's AI business leaned hard on its early and exclusive partnership with OpenAI. But the drama-filled marriage slowly devolved into a situationship, and the pair effectively separated in late April, though Microsoft is still OpenAI's primary cloud partner, for now.
The Verge's Hayden Field and Tom Warren had this one on June 3rd. Microsoft Build was supposed to be a product conference, and it read like a breakup filing. Mustafa Suleyman told The Room, Microsoft has to prove it can do everything from the ground up. That's not a partnership update. That's a competitor walking into the room.
And the timing is brutal for OpenAI's IPO bankers. The federal case gets dismissed, the runway looks clear, and then the anchor investor shows up at Build and declares independence. Goldman and Morgan Stanley are underwriting an $852 billion valuation on a relationship that just went adversarial.
That's the SEC problem now. If the Microsoft relationship is material, and at that valuation it almost certainly is, the S1 has a new disclosure issue sitting right next to the governance problems that were already there. A prospectus that calls the deal symbiotic looks very different when the other side says it's building from scratch.
Florida AG Moody called it an insatiable AI arms race in her complaint, and that sounded like prosecutorial color to me. But if OpenAI's biggest backer is now a rival, that phrase just picked up a corporate exhibit. Okay, break that down for me. When Musk says OpenAI stole a charity, what does he actually have to prove in court? Is a for-profit pivot enough? Or does he need to point to specific assets or promises that got diverted?
Great question, because stolen charity is the rhetoric. The actual claims are breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment. And those need a lot more than mission drift vibes. To make the charitable trust claim stick, Musk would basically have to show that specific assets donated for a charitable purpose, say his $38 million, were redirected away from that purpose in a way that violated the terms of the gift. A general move toward profit doesn't automatically do it. He'd need to tie the diversion to particular donations, promises, or governing documents. Now, Musk did allege that Altman and the other founders broke an agreement to keep OpenAI strictly non-profit. And the trial did surface years of internal emails and testimony from Altman, Greg Brockman, and others about how the for-profit structure evolved. Per TechCrunch's trial coverage, OpenAI's attorneys argued point by point in closing that the law was on their client's side. And the evidence also showed Musk himself had discussed commercial structures for the company. The jury never got to weigh any of that on the merits, though.
Wait, so the jury never actually ruled on the merits? We still don't know whether the charitable trust theory would have held up.
Exactly. The jury found Musk waited too long to sue. He filed in 2024 over events dating back to at least 2018. And Judge Gonzalez-Rogers accepted that advisory verdict right away, dismissing the breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment claims as untimely, not as legally meritless. Musk has vowed to appeal, calling it a calendar technicality. So the bigger question of what a for-profit conversion does to charitable obligations may still get another day in court, or become a template issue, as other mission-driven AI ventures restructure. If you like staying on top of fast-moving stories day by day, check out Ebola Watch, a daily DRC and Uganda Ebola outbreak briefing with case counts, border tracing, WHO vaccine news, and traveler guidance. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. You'll find links to every story we covered today in the show notes, if you want to dig into the pieces that stood out. That's Musk v. Altman Daily for Thursday, June 4th. This is a Lantern Podcast.